man just threw a cigarette butt. The grass on the ground actually ducked out of the way. This instantly aroused his curiosity, and what shocked him even more was, the ground here is made of Play-Doh. Finally, he climbed up to the roof and found, all the houses here are exactly the same. It's as if the entire villa area is a copy and paste. Even the clouds in the sky are so neat and regular. He originally wanted to buy his girlfriend a wedding house here, but such a weird neighborhood. How can they dare to live there? So he immediately took his girlfriend and prepared to leave. But they drove for a long time. But they always came back to the villa they first looked at in number 9, and they ended up driving until it got dark, until the car ran out of gas. They went back to Villa 9 for the 9th time. They had no choice but to walk in again. Luckily, there was champagne and fruit in the fridge, but they found that strawberries tasted like nothing. They couldn't care less. They filled their stomachs and rested for the night. The next day they decided to leave on foot. They'd rather go over the fence than turn around so as not to get lost, all the way to the direction of the sun. But they walked until the sun went down. But they still couldn't get out of the neighborhood. Just when they were about to give up, Ellie suddenly noticed one of the rooms had a light coming from it. This means that there should be other people living here. But when they excitedly rushed into the room, they found the table full of their leftover food from last night. They were back to square one. The only difference was, there's an extra cardboard box at the yard door. It was filled with supplies and food. It's like someone's feeding them, or they're being watched. Thinking about the home sales that brought them here and suddenly disappeared, Jack instantly felt teased. In order to make the other party stop this behavior, he responded immediately by setting a direct fire that ignited Villa 9. He was trying to force the man behind the curtain to reveal himself, but until the two of them watched the house turn to ashes, no one ever showed up. Finally, both of them were exhausted and fell asleep. When they woke up, there was another cardboard box in front of them, but this time it wasn't food. It was a live baby. There were 3 words written on the carton. Only when they raised their children could they be free again. And what's even more bizarre is that room 9, which they had watched turn to ashes, appeared intact again. Now they have no way to get out. Can only raise the child as required. But the boy is as strange as the place. Grew into a boy in just 5 days. When the boy is hungry, he kept screaming. He won't stop until the food and utensils are ready. When he's got nothing better to do, the boy also would mimic the conversation between the two.
Quindi è colpa mia! Anche questo è colpa mia, Tom! Mi dispiace, Gemma, e questo posto mi fa diventare matto! Il cibo che ci danno qui mi fa venire la nausea.
The boy mimicked the exact same voice as the two people, though they are afraid. But in order to be free, they had to overcome their fear. Finally, Jack came up with an idea. Since the whole world is so fake, there might be an answer under the ground. He wants to know what's underneath the Play-Doh land. He was going crazy with nothing to do every day, so he started digging underground. He was convinced that if he dug deep enough, he would be able to reach the real world. The two just started digging down. The little boy watched it all. He didn't stop them or help them. After that, Jack woke up every day and started digging, and he didn't go back to bed until nightfall. Time passes day by day, and the pit is getting deeper and deeper, and Jack's not going back to bed. When he got sleepy, he would lie down in the pit for a while. When he woke up, he kept digging. Ellie took care of the weird child every day. On this day, Ellie was playing a game with the kid. She had the idea of having the kid imitate someone they'd never seen before. It's a sight that scares the shit out of Ellie. 10 more days passed. The boy had grown, and he looks exactly like the salesman who brought them here. Ellie is falling apart, and Jack was still digging day and night. Suddenly, Jack seems to have dug something up. This man digs dirt day and night. Suddenly, Jack seems to have dug something up. He peels back the dirt. There's actually a person inside. Jack was terrified. He climbed out in a hurry, digging day and night. It made Jack very ill. Ellie tried to get the boy to help, but he refused. Jack died quickly without medical attention. At that moment, the boy came out, with a box in his hand. Ellie ran over and opened the box. Surprisingly, inside was a plastic bag containing the body. Ellie had a breakdown. Watching the boy put Jack in a bag and threw him into the pit that Jack had dug himself. Ellie didn't want to live without Jack. She hid in the car. When the boy came out, she sneaks up on the boy and then sneaks up on him. The boy was knocked to the ground. Ellie raises her hand again, ready to finish him off. This time the boy dodges. That's when Ellie realized, this place is full of traps. There were other rooms down there, and they weren't the only humans here. There are countless other boys in the room at the same time, but they seem to be in different spaces. But the only thing that's the same is their fate. Ellie kept plunging from one dimension to another, until she finally returned to the space that was hers. In the end, she was completely broken by despair.
What am I? horses.
And the woman died, and the boy threw her into the pit, and the pit was finally filled in by the boy. Villa 9 was restored to its original state. The boy packed up everything. Then he drove to the sales office of the neighborhood. The salesman who first greeted Jack and Ellie. He was now an old man in his twilight years. He gave the boy his work permit and died peacefully, and the boy calmly took out the body bag. After disposing of the old salesman's body, the boy took his place in that seat, waiting quietly for the next batch of buyers to arrive.